You know someone like this, endlessly patient, quick to forgive, until one day they go quiet, then cold, and then suddenly, without a fight or a single raised voice, a door slams shut and they are completely gone. People call this the INFJ door slam. To those left on the other side, it is a staggering experience that leaves them questioning everything they thought they knew about the relationship. The roots of this behavior lie in the INFJ personality itself. They are among the rarest types in the world, making up only 1 to 2% of the population. Their internal world is defined by hyper-empathy. They absorb the emotions of others as if they were their own, often granting forgiveness far beyond the limits of logic. Because they project such immense patience, the eventual cutoff appears terrifyingly abrupt to the outside world. This drop to absolute zero represents a strict psychological mechanism of self-protection. It is the final circuit breaker for a mind that has reached its limit. While an INFJ often seems at peace, their mind is constantly working. They notice every shift in tone and every behavioral detail, even when choosing to say nothing. They process a list of microhurts, the emotionally drained conversations, the casually broken promises, and the quiet realization that they are being used. To avoid conflict and maintain outward harmony, they will keep a warm smile in place while silently absorbing the emotional damage you've caused. Deep inside, an internal ledger is active. They are logging and categorizing every offense, keeping a mental tally that is completely hidden from the offender. This silent documentation preserves the immediate peace, but ensures a massive buildup of unseen relational debt. What looks like effortless harmony is actually the highly structured documentation of a relationship in decline. INFJs give seen many chances because they understand the why behind the hurt. They see the underlying pain driving the toxic behavior and use that insight to excuse it. They use their own empathy to reframe the damage, trying to fix the dynamic 10 times over, even as it drains them. This creates a false sense of security for the other person. They begin to assume the INFJ's patience is an infinite resource that will endure anything indefinitely. The final breaking point is rarely a massive betrayal. It is usually a shockingly trivial letdown, one more weight added to an already full ledger. In that moment, the switch flips. The internal ledger reaches maximum capacity, and the INFJ quietly decides they are done. This cutoff is a calculated withdrawal of energy, separate from any loss of control or punishment. The resulting silence indicates a state of emotional peace. The fighting stops because the capacity to care has run dry. The physical act of door slam marks the visible conclusion of a long, agonizingly slow drain of energy. This timeline shows the reality of the break. While the outward behavior stays steady and bright, the internal investment drops to zero months earlier. The INFJ grieved the loss of the relationship entirely in private, long before the visible end. For the person shut out, the realization is difficult. During those final months, the INFJ was simply smiling through the post-mortem of a dead connection. This is a necessary act of self-protection. It is the final defense for someone who feels too much to keep bleeding quietly. The request for a second chance fails because the emotional capacity required to sustain the relationship is fully depleted. The actual goodbye happened in private, long before the final boundary was ever enforced. If you are an INFJ, recognize the heavy toll that silent endurance takes on your own well-being. Growth begins with the realization that middle ground exists between silent suffering and the finality of the door slam. By voicing boundaries and speaking up early, while you still actually care, you can keep the ledger from filling and prevent the heavy doors from ever needing to close.